Okay. I got a text message saying that a buddy of mine is stuck in the state game area with a flat tire right after our snowstorm came through. This one had some pretty good drifts. It's about midnight and I was up anyways. This is a great excuse to go play in the snow. Looked like somebody was stuck there. I actually hadn't even noticed that it snowed that much. Being stuck in the house all day. A couple of the roads were fairly well traveled, but out in the state game area it won't be. We're getting closer. Now the tracks start disappearing. I've got the stock 33 mud terrains on it right now for the winter. The bigger tires didn't seem to do as well in the snow, but these seem to be cutting it really well. I've actually never driven this in such deep snow before. This isn't powdery snow at all. This is a very wet snow. There's still mud under it. The fresh snow always seems to make the roads less traveled, very scenic. The pine trees were taking a lot of weight on. Here I thought we'd caught up to them already. We're in the state game area and I see headlights. And it's not them. It's a very low profile Cadillac. Doesn't look like he's got any place good to hook on to. He's still trying to get out. I'll whip it around here and watch for a second and see if he needs any help. There's no real good place to hook onto a Cadillac, as I've found out. It's completely covered on the bottom side with plastic, so you can't get to anything. talk about it for a second, but he makes the call to hook it to the rim. So we bust out the toe straps and hook onto the rim. The Gladiator doesn't really have any issues moving him. I don't even have to yank. He's just off the edge of the road enough that the tire doesn't want to pop back up, but it finally pops up on the road. I pull him all the way over to the other side, but yet he's still stuck. So I pull him off a little bit farther, make sure cars can get around him. He assures me that he has somebody that can come and get him and sends me on my way. I did let him know that I'd be back through that way once I found my person I was looking for. I made sure he got home one way or another. So I whip it around again and go on the search. I didn't have to go very far. 3 or 4 miles. I come across this area that looked like it had footprints, had a bunch of car tracks. It was like somebody had actually gotten stuck there already. And so I back it up to check out the actual state game parking area that I had just passed. And then I noticed this truck right away, flat back tire. He'd been out here a couple of hours. He was ready to go home. So I get them loaded up. Again, it's still mud underneath the snow. Took me a second to get turned around. But we were heading on our merry way again. Let's see if the Cadillac had made it anywhere. We hadn't taken very long, so I figured it would still be there. The Gladiator actually does very well in the snow. I'm very impressed by it. It didn't take long to find the Cadillac still in the same spot I left it in. I pulled up and asked him if he wanted to try anything else, if his buddy's on the way or not, and we decided to hook it up to my Gladiator and pull it up that hill right there and see if it could at least get going back downhill to its destination. But I ended up pulling it up there, but there was no such luck. It was not moving on its own. It just kept spinning down and bottoming out. The snow packed really well, so we just hooked it onto the Gladiator and I actually drug him all the way to his house. Ended up being about 2 miles, 3 miles, and he ended up getting home with his car. That made me even more impressed with the Gladiator being able to tow a Cadillac through the snow it couldn't drive through. All the way to its destination. Everybody was impressed at how well it handled that huge car. I'm not going to show you the guy's house, but I get him pulled up in his driveway and go around him and take my passengers home. I always love a good snow before the snow plows get out. This would have made a great picture if it had been nice and sunny out the next morning and the snow would have stuck around, but it was warm enough it disappeared pretty quick. Ended up narrating this because the Gladiator's windshield wipers are extremely loud. Going back and forth is very annoying. But I found the guy's house. Got him up in his driveway. He has quite the amazing driveway. Got him home. Turned around, got my cell phone. Everybody was happy, and I got to play in the snow.